is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
It makes sense in a sense, yeah. Now amount for top petrol 17 cities. Oh, Chroma say, yeah. And that 17 cities now drop here, Babidru 12 cities, 13 cities.
He said, "Your mama would I so from Pona would you suban Pana person ya? Unclama ye. Unclama, what is say? Remota, what did the whole Ghana?
Sitting there no has no consequential effect on the activity of course of Parliament. So, where is it your phobia?
Is it the case here? Kotua baby, that will be fish wedding trial or question your manner. And to be fish, I was here prosecute easy Nibia no kind election. Who did it here? I know Pana say you are my content creator.
Etidia Honono, Listowel, Ivan, Yaa Titi, Solomon, a jama to the good people for so nyas and ketwa. Minority for say, Abelukuma not election no, I was say easy, a declare a queer free as winner, essence or mujidi say or no dinkunim. Don't forget say, a rabina open crack we see. Thank you, a billboard cashier, ewo Abelukuma, Kwashima one say, onu swedin kunim for NDC. Etin to kwa wonya secretary no na Solomon kire say yen prosecute Electoral Commission officers a omudi sabato no anim wo ye no sin chen a one cd a ye de to fuel so liter ba ku bia so no Listowel no kire say yen ntum ni etua na Mahama ya de wate so from 17 to 12 until dem biem na Ghana for mope oh muntua ne ku anim yesi Wontumi so say we content creator entro kwa tweda na okoye ye was say in a 9 Wontumi nante why mere ade chinya wona wototo 9 Wontumi content creator yo yemonremwe
from a minority sorry free parliament na proceedings cause we must there be ye dey require GP ho abanti omo de krata akoma GP say oma Electoral Commission and declare Abelukuma not still Abelukuma not any representation udru ho a rabina be yes billboard thank you Abelukuma not a queer free so as in the thank you Abelukuma not 2 MPs in one constituency. Just say hello.
There's a bedroom on none of some gusu boka so. A queer free boka and a rabna because one him mebuna I was any beja chidi and no cry near yano.
That's what
baby you'll be also a catio baby. Anna Omunina boka do go see billboard what away in India go see each ever no munyas canako. Ask if I'm a fisher. Say we are in future elections. Ever had it's answer. Is it the case here? Kotua baby, that will be fish wedding trial or question your manner.
Exactly the point.
And when to be fish, I was here prosecute easy Nibia no kind election. Ain't to him must say, Yatua baby. Electoral Commission and Casa organize election also who the pink sheet. Yeah. Yana ye Johnny Panama no cosa. Maybe blame the two political parties. Your friends are afraid dance. Me my friend party and my baby. Yeah. Adriania made the mom and I'm with you. Yeah. The more the Adriania we are missing me nip burn on a you. That be it's easy. You know your returning officer or SAR constituency and I say the district director of elections. Yeah. But now he must be facing prosecution.
And also grant declare Rabnobio.
Now what declare we are you know just what declare.
No declare Rabnobin.
It's me a man on cost scot free. Yes I know. E be me na say election no so be betwa ma wa me see me pink sheet ayira. Look, say even cross is a two political parties no. I want more pink sheet original. And I need Yaa Titi say like you do nyina so. I was a referee na nkase nya na pink sheet.
A pink sheet.
E ba ye na omu nyina akuto pink sheet na okuta dia. Ye hia omu de o. Wo de nie kwa kugina so. Sure. Uze mu na obi ko forge signature bi. Yeah. Enti enra me hu say minority ko police station akoye ye no. Mesresa na we de o be da ne gina ngwa pink sheet so akaka se wo na wodi nkunu.
Wo de also cry a scan one and duplicate.
Nkwada sem kra. Your friends queer free. Yeah. I wish I could between a win your court Parliament, but we dear Adabraka. So long as there is no pin sheet, no. Yeah. Into declare. Or say, we no Matthias here. And your man didn't catch us or Munu Bianti. Yeah. So, yeah. And no time if he say, before say be call the issue of say kwakoye rerun the crown I was say prosecute EC
Electoral Commission
ya in fasa bia nto ho a 2028 you know EC for be di abropa when you that count na me nwa say oba ahema Jane Mensa wonu amfa ne krata anko so resign twa akra ye hune anu he ya o ye ni representation of Ablikmanov. How can you tell me so why you mapa better than obi atumi aba be come here and you know yema the organize election no yemfa asodie ni asotwe ni yankobo no ye the born one na yetumi akwa ye rerun of the elections no the o kosoro ba for say
okay
but ko ye rerun no abra wan twe EC official na so what set a very bad precedent. Okay, so what it means is say china ye kwa ye election EC officials be very careful. Say hey me pin sheet party me man nyira da e say ira asamba me be hold me responsible ana obi a okwa di bone no so be hu say we di bone ni wi isi one de ono no so de be dey be gina so but se sie a ye ka say die chano e OCC IGP oko hotel 30,000 times kwala ontimi nya hwe so tiase cha takashina but I don't blame this party MPP for no minority na ko so mo ye connection wade ni ne NDC phobic kasa se o munye mman because mo do so tie na edidi o mutire yeah
David na sa one no mo de kete ete no ete no mo de be de
sha mo be kwa ko gina mo members wa kasa ya nkan job se be gigi seat ni na ano ni campaign no na politics o mo ye no
okay
yeah be ka ta we mo ye ka se be chimo mo nsa mo de mo ye 2020 be se chimo mo nsa eno wo adwuma no mo ye ba me no de hia me ne se o benya representation they to serve no ye nyina ni anya ho central governor yi no enyefe but when the huna ye betumi an intentem said ye be ya ye kwakọ chisa isi official no ne ya sa chi Mensa for account say Wontumi ogara some na mo recruit district officers ni ade from polling station ye bi obi anu an pin sheet wo se ayira no ye mfa no the ba ku bi be ka kire say on the we ni self where you self free
Ablekuma not ni na
ana mi kan ya
also ade wa horo ne self free ade ne ho
on na busu an wa sere wa twe ho and they go be abaya obi abedi abamu posa na onya so aso emi dem me bisa ba wa horo wonsa ye je o change ye o change here ye no ni age say let's see the baba na mo ka che go for say me na me boss na asema ba o so ye ni onwie ye police me so me kwa competition police ne say omo nko oh yes because o say man ye boa me ye shape o man ye nko chi isi official
okay
but now o say kiache no kwan ya fa so a yirai na so obi be shia no the force gi ya wa report to asem na police ana so wa report to police the investigation o my then we closing on those almost ebe ya sa de no enye say ya na be na yentumi mpede puma sibran sana ya du 2028 elections no na kofa onye ne bia de amre no na meka o
okay GTP dem ya sure say so lo ko ba bia no afa nkwa na say wajao the Bible we chi we cho konkron
enwana mkra ye ko che John so ba ko John mama ye ma no mo me die kwa dia
na wo hwa de ye ko so na ebi wo ma wo implement ya
enwana offer say na say the 8-point agenda bi betu eno ye de na ye 10 ana wa kike bia mo ye be say on fa nya aduma fiko
okay
or the year aduma be bo Ghana ye to abawi politics na sawo
sure.
The next time I be a politics in the year 2024 na ye campaign ye nyina ye koton ye nyoma but you net to abawi kroma nkwa na ye to abawi a the next day dey o man penini sisu na ye
ni start campaign
partisan politics what the politics kwa de be na partisan ade ne ye white pa benim say o se ye be ba fuel
ye be don the first topic e be
ye white pa no ya na kwoi ka say na de o say black ye na between omutumi amon because me say me kasa sam na me coffee me ba sere me o sir daddy o udi intro yes
e crowd dey so mo ya sharp with you
o mo na ye jam mo ba be yo ma ni o
mo ni atecha ye ba
and then kwala o ba ya mu busa ma yo so mo fa ge so butua
na unim da no me ba ketua no bisa me ase bi say na o say mama why is the road bad na me say why it's the government responsibility to construct roads. So why is the road bad? Manya answer mano.
Unya da he. Wonum ade a ebe comfort dey sisi a wo mu a edi post ndi bra mo bra ne say enkwara na eba ni omo access to internet
Oh,
hwe e na kwara wie school omo wie polytechnic university
yeah.
Wouldn't be opedidan upper plush areas
Yeah.
single room self contained
Yes.
probably will be beer
Bia wom.
o de ne kwotena sa will get to her want
On tena.
and the more positions
Ma
so yeah
wo bi.
works and house na and that you know
Adwuma da so.
so see no mo ni ate
Yeah, they know what's up.
that is it actually obusa say aden na ekwan ni
Also kwa ne nye.
because o ko school no wa hu say aban bi wo ba bi a
Yeah.
o gisika o de ye kwan mom aden na enko de gisika na ne
Yeah, di.
ya goma ya ho asire o o ma di no mo sa ka che so mo smart ya
What do you have to
o ma me bi ani o no so mo smart na asem ne ba na wo kan so no mo na makire ne o mo nkofo ofro o ya mo nsusu nkan na wi ase de etumi tu obi etumi tu wan wo di wo ne di mutumi di aka se mo boy sikatuo ai la bregu
Isolo.
mo boy sikatuo kroma yambo ya bida yambo mi bida de bi omo nkwa de bo mo na wa bo sikatuo na sikatuo so bo wa mia wono na mfango
Amen aso obi betena ho.
me
No sheka time.
I putu che na nse o my contractor so mo ko wi ani o mama mo sika na no mutumi de we hu
I got kwa bi kwa ho say the last time onya first and onya 1007.
yes
Eh.
na adane kro na ye yi wontumi no se ho ntokwasi bebi ada opia no ahye da ye so ya no ya da za eze wontumi de no o ye
No bi ana wontumi nante ade a che ya na ne nan ne nsa nyina so ma o number umia.
oh ay would did chia anopa na obese you ama
Content creator.
wey o ba ya na o si chale ye ho se de o yare na o se da ase de obi obewu
Ne nan no cross the for mo.
wey drama kuma would ni papa de gina ho drama nko kuma wu
Ready ya go.
Minority. Obaya democracy na sebio e makwan man ne o ma bi wo ho a sebi preduasa nyansa nim but e wo se ekoso. Nti democracy e ma sebi obi a kire na adwen. Including bodemi ni nyina democracy ma ne kire na adwen. The only time democracy onye fair to bodemi when you go aba. Wow, see
Only sound mind.
because of na adwen na e community ni kwan so to aba. Amra no kra no my imagine say me kwama ya repeat because abodan fu pia to aba emra no emfa omfa amra kwan bi aso ama adru ba bi kura mpo no na ohwe ye mampani a ote yeso akufo ado a bia ni obetima convince me say akufo ado was of sound mind. It's a bodem netime agina me ato ne so aba me ne di koti kwa ofa so de be ye mampani bia ni yebo a eno se akufo ado ye mampani tina ohwe ni o ma na ekoso bia ni won ma na sebi abadwen basem ewu enti se me hwede ye course nura minority for say omo ye work ni o ma mienu na eba amadwen ye di kan ye say election na omulusu ye no they haven't come to terms with the realities akwai say utro mienu ma ani hahane we sa sutro we no akwai sutro mien sample amanta sentase aye omo ama se no edin se omo be gia tum se de ekoso ni enti se wo hwe petition ni kro omo de kona na omo se nipa oye omo ba no dani eye mra nimu ni
Ya lawyer ni abe
ba kasa MPP lawyer bi eni oye onimu mra
onim judge
MPP lawyer bi eni hon ma on afenyo makin so a wo su na CJ na mo pese mu yina di ni nyina ne se onim CJ oni busuani efi mankesi enti abri bia no enye law no no
onim judge
so yi judge ni free ho no wasa bon no onim law no a se de no mo ko yesa IGP na IGP ni 2 mi ne sen emre mu no IGP 2 mi ne sen emra ben na kire se IGP na wo se okoma electoral commission ko ye na djuma emra ben no we lawyer ni o kan Ghana lawyer for dina me ka se Ghana ba association no was so muguno. Acquired to say chop bar before bina and some real for bar and Omakoshia. Senye obobrobo in a door manoa. The otite matron dancing ase and odo mano. Association Nunya said, "Ye obi bia ni afa ne so lawyer ni." Na omu gom weni mu ase a good law profession ani mu ase. Wei ye boni din ni afa esquire na nka ho a obetumi kwa de wakọ court say wagu nanim tia. They say ye lawyer e wo wiase wei mu a. Anya say Kojo Bantima no nyina betuma lawyer so. Kojo Bantima ye obi a na adwene mu ka no Ashtown.
Oh, really?
Fa Bantima line ho. Kojo Bantima. Obetuma a lawyer. Akufado ye lawyer ni. Obribuahin lawyer. Abronye lawyer.
Ah, we lawyer. Ah. Abronye lawyer.
Na bi kwa ye lawyer na Abronye. Na bi ye lawyer. Pegari ni mako. Pegari ni mako.
I think so. Your masters in law, but on your LLB.
Oh, he has not been called to the bar.
Oh, okay. Ba kwa law.
Law.
Ah, okay.
Entino na bi ye lawyer. Pegari ni mako wa ye lawyer. Oh, eti se wo hwe we mu a omukọ ye ya. Na hwe de oda oma no na. E wo so hu so my we ya san ya chi. Papa. Because sebi. So no be ka kire wo. Kan ye ka se obi ye lawyer ni wo MPP mu a. Den ye bi ni o.
Aben.
Ah, na den emere afikura no me nka ayiko otu.
Yeah.
One ne nya adwe but bo so he is talking law. Gary, nanu Wontumi ade ye oyeye. Woye lawyer ni o. Wo ni aban e kokon ase, aban no say. Aban say ono no de obi. Akodina emre nim amani bail. Emre mo o se me court say omo anti bail conditions ne so. Se obekwa ko hwe obi a owo sebi ehun krata asem a obetimi aboa me nya bail no. Ene se obekọ court akopim se court be di asem na wie no. Eti se court no kra share se obedi asem no juada. Na ni pakro no wadam efiada memenda kwasiada. We oye lawyer ni. Oye lawyer ni o.
Yeah.
Na wonu no ekọ akoni ni senior adeba ekotwe manso a se onu ka asem senior na ntie. Wo so senior bibia wo pese wo ye bia wa abrabom as a lawyer no. Wonu na a director e cheche wo kwan. Because we were born. Someone who cannot put an English statement together. A sentence, common sentence, the subject verb agreement. Any gari ni maku ni common any subject verb agreement. Born wa born, that's why a lawyer ni. Frank Davis, why a lawyer. Utie send you see to papa so. Oni kisi jaben obi a ono etre mra, edi mra. Oni ne kwa kamera. Wo so wa born. Eti MPP lawyer bi en onimra omunim judge. And as say judge ne so say ne to ya ate. Na work no mo ye no ebi a the second thing that came in my mind is ebi a omo hododo omo. Ti omo ko exercise a ebe boama un say ukọ worker eyi how ni bi. Say no say how e da omo so ne so papa. And omo ye bibia na nka sebi nipa de wo twa se nim se na chi enti no. Ta wotu ana mo bia wo wiase a feedback ka wo kwa na wakɔhwɛ internet ne so deɛ na Ghana for kafa me ho.
Yeah.
In one instance se me kan deɛ Ghana for kafa wo ho wɔ ha wa hwɛ abɛka se me kura me na ma no ya ye di o matem sa to the extent say a man na be useless a man no so are the most useless ones in this country today. None of them is relevant. None of them. They don't make sense. They don't make sense. And you know, sometimes people say, is it just because you are the minute minority? So you need not to make sense? Is it because of that? Because man, the South African Parliament, how Malay Manum, almost here, they were just a handful. But they made sense beyond reasonable doubt. to the point, sir, even the majority then in that parliament, had to kowtow before them. That is how they managed to become what they are today. But to the large extent, every time they open the microphone, they don't make sense. Oh, yeah. It's as if we have just gathered some form of fools in a certain arena called parliament. Say, when we want some comic reliefs, they should just open their mouths for us to be laughing. Everything is just a public division. Are we serious as a country? And just because of democracy, we allow for any useless being to just, spew anything.
So, Ghana, politics, now we are a young person who follow. I think that about you become very so much disappointed in among for entrust the political power into their hands. In our thinking, we think that these are intelligent people. Yeah, the two me assurance as a more question of mind that but sometimes the way they operate, the way they act, the poverty of intellect, in the way they sometimes the poverty of reason, and I is so astonishing. What one Wabomabuza on my way, a one Kasawa man, but in the future. Yeah. And for me, that is the problem because this whole thing, I caused the day. I agree with Listowel on the part of government. Say all of a sudden, introduce you way no consultation, nobody like. My catch as a governance and yabosom and a few people be acquested them could take a decision then over 12 to Nipa and yabosom and as a bay and I just o'clock. I did you better the governance, a broader stakeholder discussion engagement ever coso. And we understand that the bar you cannot control that discussion and as a form. But the question is why are we here? And sir levy I can't answer me. So we take discussions because you see say Nipa don't know more don't even understand it. But man who some run TV or mobile kati YouTube almost say D-levy, the E-levy I don't know any new levy. There hasn't been any introduction of a new levy. Under the ESLA, there were several components, I think 6 or 10. Was energy sector debt recovery way and on there is 0.95. Yes. And for petrol and where 0.9 and I increase 1 city abaka and I echo 1.95 1.35. So no omunya introduce new levy bia but unza mramuno if you want to amend opesa CC and say you need to amend the entire thing. Yes. And it's in a call parliament omukwa amend there. So obia nya introduce new levy bia obia a existing one no and na sika no akosoro ebia babaka ho. And for me, it makes sense in a sense, na amount for top petrol, 17 cities. Oh, Chroma say, and that 17 cities now drop here, Babidru 12 cities, 13 cities. And in the wisdom of government, say number 17. Now I drop it down while Babidru 12 at least say slash 1 city woman within this period. Na idea kushi no this man in the some kind of lean way. I'm a government. I decide to can baby. And that is making sense because this whole thing levy by is there just to cover the shortfall, not even to pay the energy sector debt. Because basa existing sikana yajijeda da no, kwanya bom na that money can go and pay the debt. But this one no, abambe kwa kofa sika bi 1.5 and 1.4. E dia kwa koto fuel no, this money is going to pay for the crew we na omoka hwasem no. Sabi that relief ebeba. So for me, it makes sense. And you see, that makes sense in the first place. Sanka petrol ni jina baby e jina e I will never come and sit here and say I buy for 1 cedi into so because already hardship no Ghana for so that. But here is the case. Price now drop almost for and Rabbi who documents me from Energy Commission. Almost a fair price per what is happening because the global stage per barrel now $100 and now drop it to $64 crude per barrel. And fortunately for Ghana, no see the news was saying again I'm aware no. So everything being equal, economics when I come myself, and everything has never been equal. So that yes. So fair price. I say Ghana yet 8 cedis per your friend saying later. Because all things being equal, and which means that the possibility of petrol no air drop it further no air more. And yes, and the 1 cedi never be same no Ghanaians will not feel because of the measures near my akoso. But for the time petrol no turn 17 cities. Ghana for ATM. So how do you add your friends 1 cedi to it? You can't. You understand? Yeah. But when the price I drop it. because the whole essence of the year is a Ghana for finding relief. And the relief number, Okoto petrol 3 cities, 4 cities at tier free. So, and government say major 1 city at so. Na media have a debt tonight down and yet to chroma a buying society yena better TV so can doom so nina because we need to go and buy crude have on a sika free bar. So if this measure are relieve Ghana for a year you move 1 city at the aqua then people on social media talking about her and I buying the D-levy aba now you E-levy for the D-levy aba and issues not among for a canon people don't even understand it. So I'm ranting on Mugu YouTube or more yeah you've heard saying podcast in for sometimes you see ubetimi entertainment ubetimi comedy innocent but when it comes to politics it's a very complex way you need to understand it.
You are too bigger to be discussing miscreants.
No, but media is always we are trying to sell information out there. Media is try read understand when so when you have that information now what I say but to go and say D-levy about and the whole because some among for okay come boom they don't even understand it. I mean for me that is my problem. The fact is the energy sector over the years and I have been bedeviled with a lot of challenges and I can be and I'm recently doom so me and better have a cancer doom so the way and we need to stop. So now if there is a way and there is a fact out there say every year be an energy sector shortfall a huge almost billion $, and World Bank for the projection Ghana for you careful by the end of this year we will be hitting around 3.1 billion in terms of saying shortfall.
Yeah.
And now what you want to see Jababa can't say commercial and technical losses 40%. Now you more than papa company Ben was I see we saw technical and commercial losses 40%. That company can be viable. But we tolerate say that is it. It's okay. And then to turn name here. So another day challenges in the good sector and why the okosi we saw all the noise that these people made but not the day the impact and also the consequences and say I form a consortium of banks na IPPs ni nyina oni omo na okache omo say sika beto esra no ma ye one bank jisika no na pay the IPPs na omo sabe omo betimi ato aso a supply because Ghana is a energy mix no IPPs am about 50% of the entire energy generation na ye no entino omubufu no so mu dundum omo we you can't survive you understand now so ugly China for way they shut it down after elections some point some discussion had to go in before so energy sector no a cow and I cannot buy it because of the near mass yeah. So for me if John Mahama government has been able to reduce petrol form and there is a possibility that BM and the only reason I cannot criticize one city in the price na conform BM and abanya slot to 1 city ashem say yem fasa sika no na yem fa nkope say yetiana say petrol no sign cost ko do 17 cities bia we will come back and say baby and near my corner we need to take you want city in free because the politics is about serving humanity you understand so me sometimes me your politics no e to da agra ho ne say these are penning for they know this fact I can answer me but because of cheap politics in this MPP they just try to make it look like why E-levy and Baumia was saying the same thing. This is a flag bearer of a political party. Onim in and out. Onim energy sector. Do mo anka so mo ye no a car is suming as a forum. And the akano yanya than the akano. And the doom so should continue. You understand? So I think that the level of dishonesty on the part of these people. Now, Listowel, can you see? Now, no, me catches who lose political power in a country. You don't just lose power; you lose connection with the people. And they be very goodwill, a slip from your side. But in opposition, you try to build that particular thing. You become the voice and the representative of the people. So, obi by your government, only the people side. Our Ghana politics or opposition at Tambiano, you are able to bring the people because you speak for them. But it looks as if that the MPP hasn't realized this thing, and still this arrogant, belligerent posture. Moving away from parliament. Unfortunately, you don't have the numbers to make any upset in parliament. And whether you sit or there, you are sitting there has no consequential effect on the activity of course of parliament. So where is it you understand? But I think they need to make themselves counter relevant in the politics and the discussion in this country. Now you who say minority question and interest what is the sunset clause in this particular thing? And until when? And I be making sure that once in the NGB, because John Mahama bet me at the tax, but people cannot criticize because we are reducing petrol now from 17 to 12. I ever conform according to Energy Commission. We are supposed to sell it around some 8 cities. I say, which means it is coming.
Yeah.
And this is obiet me this ajuma way. Now a cabi or also the 1 city shema. Yeah. What is the big deal? You and Uber for 8 good years, you know, there wasn't a timer, this particular because the city and everything was going up, and we were forced to always, you know, increase your friends petrol at the pump. It got to a time where people were demonstrating in as a forum. When was the last time I had higher petrol over by 4 cities? Me in my lifetime, I'm here too, even though it's what it's paying there, but such a huge sum of money, you know, it been see that. So for me, advantage for us. And I can't go energy sector. And when you understand? So I think that it is not always your position, you know, like media me position negative, always criticizing because and I had opportunity to listen to a lot of the guys speaking in as a forum. We don't find any sense in the things that they were saying. Because the bottom line is the price not drop very big. Ghana for I enjoy it, and consumers and fair as a phone, so in this particular instance, you know, how do you say I buying the hardship to Ghana for so? And it's not as if I buying at the one city never to price in so existing price now and buying 1 city free. So it's not as if he's imposing 1 city. You understand?
So education,
you see, so the existing way now buying 1 city free.
Yeah.
So another day, you know. The impression they are trying to create in this hardship. No, they are speaking for Ghana for no. If there is anybody on Badana here, is the Mahama government what me at petrol from 17. So I think that in opposition or more, they need to just try to say, yeah, that goodwill no was slept to their side. This demonstration here, quite walking out of Parliament and as a forum. Oh yes, sir. The weak minds will always applaud you, say, and never will opposition. But you see, there are intellectuals sitting out there watching you. This is the time you need these people to your side. Sabaya, the politics, the discussion, obey to me, and making sure that you take the lead. But the attitude and this kind of way or more, for me, and yeah, they inspire and gender any confidence, and they portray the MPP as the same arrogant political party that sat on power for 8 good years or decided to own Ghana for because never be no mafa okromo mo kan yansa wom na no yete na Wontumi issue ba obi a yama ne be 50 million city bill motena se kasa yama branch na dem 4 days kan ho na open year na so open year because he was slapped 50 million and then the argument was that 50 million no also yet yawayomi in 2012 yes slapping 54 at we say yes slash no $600 million number one
now even cry no 50 million no sika na ye kan ho asem say akodi Wontumi nchen no it was in excess of about 10 times.
Yes, me say
because even at the dollar equivalent rate today, that money, no, $55 million, no, even if it's at 10, it is about 500.
I don't know. Nam one almost slapping nam one $500 million. Kroma say, and the argument is $50 million. And also by Wontumi as a person, I don't know. You can go and do the research. Yeah, do you know? Say Wontumi as an individual. Benefit more than the entire Ashanti region. Because there is no single project in the Ashanti region that was started by Akufo-Addo within a period of 8 years and the cost to do $55 million. But Wontumi alone, they invested $55 million in Wontumi. So the Wontumi as a person got richer than the entire Ashanti region. That was the bank, the Florida of the MPP. Now what you are not Basim. Now what you come up say me baba ye you know yes Abrantie yare na no afa na passport come my clinic now what you get here na wo ton bofra na wo ton we yare a kolebukura ya feza kolebukura bia Wontumi fa ka ba. You see, we need to understand politics. It's not about the individuals involved. It is about the collective interest of the people. Politics, emotions, don't expect that people come and sit on TV or be defended. Because that is not the nonsense of politics that we do. We just look at the critical issues at play. How are Ghana for benefit? How do we chart a new political narrative? Young people out there will be inspired and they'll be interested in politics. Because you see, we've got into a time, I'm for free, conmen and their politics. And they'll be free school, but I just
free, so comment their politics.
Yes, because of free school by I know the VAT, no class, I say, easily going as for Croman will be back getting richer overnight. They don't ask where they are getting those things from. But they do these things at the expense of the poor masses out there. And then the very people who will be out there say, yeah, defend their man for. But this politics of defense, here you know, car for 9 so be a better than paracetamol crowd to be to be. Now what one Okoji Nipa na who didn't chinukra unrespected. They don't even know your name. As some to a nimu baby. What as a minimum man for muko political campaigner or free cast to talk from Obia Crama feels over hell. What I say? So young fire drain your politics near who's a near mana will benefit us as people. Your collective interest, not about honorable. Okonipa 100 Ghana city, 1,000 Ghana city, Ubedia, we are no young farmer. You understand? But let us build institutions and systems, put them in place just to ensure say a man politics and a year and benefit a man for. Now this politics of negativity and criticizing because we are in opposition. You just say a term, you understand? So I think that the also about this thing, there is no D-levy that has been introduced. There is no new levy. So Momugu social media, misinform me a man for no. There is no new levy. Existing levy has been revised and 1 city has been added to it, and it is going to pay for the shortfalls. And then as a former. Buying a bogu because energy sector levy na buy no senka omo de sika na ye de omo ye yanka e kanu ngu ho go to the energy sector and look at the debt egu ho enti o ma me na betua na papa na betua. And this is the time for us because my catch was senka price is still our 17 cedis can we never sit here and justify this, but enam said to me atiaba for mama Ghana for any relief no that 1 cedi no people will not feel it, you understand? And I think this is the argument and whenever they are making it look like say Mahama the 1 cedi abeto petrol. So, but the atia free sooner there they don't talk about it. That is the level of dishonesty, choking of politics. I'm a man for Nigidi or politics. Yeah. So,
I told you be no help. Say, Usika Shubutumpa, baby, yeah, Ubienua or pet 20. Yeah, the thought to be this one. Do expect said to my team for Baba Boabasu say, why ideas or the Tuaba. But also, Tias, as you say, a 20 teacher mine. Homa bien we develop here. Ye campaign me ba me say dia me Kenya answer me ba me beje mo twa isi me
beje musika
eno ala me ba beje bi ni ba bia me ko fava obi o ye campaign bia ni kapere
yeah
so tia say eno ti so hwe ne sa dia na o se hu se eto ehu hia na ye memu ano ya ye problem ay wo sisi ade se enye setimem fo no mpese obetua me de akikire man no
sure
but mem ni bia nim say article 1 of our constitution ka say the sovereignty of this country resides in them.
Yeah.
I say what be a company shareholders no. Ghana no ye nyeti bemfo ne shareholders.
Yeah.
And a company bia no say a kaba a shareholders na dey ekotua. Enti say oman no kobo ka ye ne ayetim no say dey yetua. Eno ne man ya asefem no. Say oman ya yetimi orakofo ba ye no. Or the idea be by say toll recovery levy.
Yeah.
Ne say toll that tia pansam. Ana Ghana for become toy asum. Itua sa aka no ya eneme no ka say turn na recover na.
En recover yo.
Enti say sika de de.
Ene ne asemi.
Akosho obi botoma mbwasi emu andan wo. Eastleigh on airport ama ne ma wo de akosho wo.
Yeah.
Professor Mills buy so na kada so da ho. Ana omode esla ye dey. E buy. Enu ntini e fi se esla no so betua ba be dey. Abetika no efri ho. Enu so ye di mu by 2017 na sala ka 2.1 billion
That's so da ho.
Ba be ka ya sa time na MPP na me 1 MPP mu.
Azata na 1 MPP.
Ye ka ye nyina I am fully aware. Enkofo ani so mo ka sa asem we bi. So obi tu omofo a obetu omofo ye ne MPP fo. So obi obe wo MPP obeka bibia no okasa bi omulu so votes. E no abete se Ora Mahmood Baumia.
Wono okasa dende.
Okasa wie ya o akọ various portals. Send you almost be a fire no ano ashi. Esan say abra NDC 2016-17 ja 2.1 billion kind of to.
Yeah.
Na ye ne wo position that time bombi no. Ye ka say e ba esla no kra be ye free.
Am ka say mbetwam.
Because ECG how wo ho ne masa aka ni nyina ye dey. MPP ba na MPP enye mfiri fa o shemu kana wo tu mu kura. Eti no be expect say 2.1 no dey.
anya bia 8 years na free ho na tell but interestingly na me ka say 1 billion asaba be kasa aka no ma na be 3.1 billion
na say ka na yentua ba na GS la no am ya tumu kora
atum it is sika no the question is so that is where the issue is so and yet too much to do with say omaya boka de anya obi a wutie me no pay mu jaija mo na politicians ko boka ora obetua enu ntire ni say wo de obi si ba bia ye de yes amasa wo sika adie bi obeye de onye ne be bo na bia wo na be sofa enti say wo akwa boka 3.1 billion ma ore mfi so say Ekufuado on November 3rd 2024 abre NPP ye omo delegates elections okoto na ba wie ya yebusa ne say economy net say wo say emu ade ba na de obeba na ba be solve problem so okay
me kai pam me kai
wo say ono de
the next president
wapem ono no so wapem wo so one ba o miagu o ma na wi enti next president obeba no e de ba be solve problems no na problems na no work no mure afia na we ka ho say me jabo ka 3.1 billion to me just asudie na ma
de obeba
no enti ya ora Mahama ene na memu aba betuka na the question is obemaka na wo ho na yenkani asem no agua ana say obepe kwan bi a obede obetetika no that is why we are we know enya politics reality and reach me there sumu na me say yes better so obetua more for electricity than say we be behwe because de na nya me ya because we ko trouble nti ewuku me na me ma no na mfifire ere ma anya sansi
na tontom so do mo fa jim
o na me ra ho pa say baby won ma krobi won ma won nan so da say ebedum
kania
enti so betua am yi kan afiri ho a na yenye kania de bia e better than say e kan be wona independent power producers de bia omo so ni ahode a betua ba be na ayede awo ho that is where we are me concern is say so yembe gisike na etina so ye besa aba na e kana move from 3.1 to say bia 4.1 that is where the problem is ye de bia ye konsuo ku kantem die ahotoso ana wosie nya se we ye kwa kogie ye de ba betua e kana wo se de be ya ye nti sa aka we bio me feel say ho na o se Ghana
because it's long overdue e ka baako
ye tia
ye wie da
ekromu a politician na omumuye covid ba na mokofa covid levy ba na covid da so
covid ni ho
ye ntua covid
ye da so tua
eno na ye na magana fo no bi sisi abebi e won say Ghana fo ni gidi o politicians esa no mo asuma he the way you calculate VAT sisi a de nti akoso compound calculation no e Iraq no furata na de ba 2018 say ye VAT ne calculate no ye be double no esa se no man ni sikasem kofom ti o ye no for just a year me no ka se ye la so ye compound calculation e ja na se ye ko ye ni mu nko a wonya wo he de bia ne nya de ba ye nyimfiri ho eno ne me concern I will say aban ebe ma on mine assurance say yenhwe mo hwe within 2-3 years no se saka we ho no a mu chesi ani hu se no ko apam
exactly
because in terms of say the impact there anyway oba I said that we 16 what we did about 12 out of that no so person dey wogi mu 1 city and it is ka ye je na no kuramu say ye dey kwa solve problem here what's the big deal go Canada ho ana nipa na on supply power independent one also the banks ka you see a change
interest ka ho
it is one nkotua what to mean say nko the bank for say mama miskara me fa nkoto fango e fa nkoto we na me fa beye emeye enyinam kania no fa mamo and we know see tiase this is where o man ni nyina o se mo adwene dey eba ya to aba you adwene feel politics so eno ade ho beba me makase movement for change ba ka to say be political party na me kanjo
I don't know kind
I license no anyone we are by ready provisional one I be launch
Jemensa we dey wan twetwen na ase
no that's a provisional in the dey no ko wi a so the bansa na me na yina ba na yakoje se ne be ya yeni ne ba be 20 years free ya won some ni you don't need to spoil somebody and say we win you for superior programs na dey but on this conquer there so longer independent power producers won tia na last year omudunum omo start
asogli
ene ne start ya na yedasum wodi agro no start sisi a wa wo kam sisi a no wo be sa be sum more because e bia wo ye tailor ni unya enyamkania enye dey empamo ade ene kura de electricity is not luxury e necessity your phones are use nyina and when they did you must see you say uni bia na akoye de wo ti mesre abamufo we de moma nya ekura laptop say ya gichi we ya de kwa kutua ka. Don't forget, Sidi na appreciate you so e be affect other sectors of the economy. Because Ghana anya bibia na so import, you so export bi. And the more Sidi no so appreciate that affect your influence. Wontumi nkuno obi sign contractor. He say Kokobot say or sign contract na obi sign in dollar enye Sidi. And so who Sidi no appreciate ya. Bona water ton and one of beton. A beba hana a stride alcohol. Meanwhile, no so aqua producer cocoa for a pharmacy where increase your musidi equivalent. A basanwa, or say by Kujesi Kibio. These are all realities. Also a buy fairly a short force. At the end, your depreciation, appreciation of the city. No, I also say on the other side of it, and also in Susan. So, and I would you tell you, fuel prices in the day above and into one over to me our pretty within what to me the idea I just can be aqua sana by buno as a mathematics over her now Monday piano a balance and yes I'm telling you say a man cannot survive it Obi a whatever be your politics pure piano a man on your day on penny or per se Obi can enra or some message D-levy near the idea. In the case of the new patriotic party crown dear. What would you wear as a born cost no almost as we more almost where do you at least above them now your TA crown say almost to miss and maintain the stability of it a beboama Selano price night a bear normal because I baby me area more filling station because in Nova about 1099 yes me video ya crab I'll be back throw on my page as I say me nkoto girl na me say now baby almighty girl cry 1252 now obedient but you see another thing so I say hwe we back catch MP do you baby I be am channel pay wo tie tie ni filling stations do na ma just so pumps no akron phone ko anegum oh yeah na say obi one more sit mama 30 liters or tank will 10 liters the room afatere obi 15 years and me no omo away enti adudi ne nkofo enhwe ho no man se ne be ya consumer na ekwakoto no ma no okoto fiwa no yengongo sisi no emma eni brenye dey emba in terms of this I think that they are on the right path omonye ne yemfa bi nkushin budget no mo fa bi nkushin your friend say e kana e da ho no na omha no enye dey enkore nim
one city no no kure nyame anim ni yade bi na eto sini me gidi say Ghanaians as forgiving as we have forgiven the government sinto a woman nyese sika na omo gye no na Ghana ni bu afu enkita hudie no na e wo say ministry ene Ghana for die
I think there was no communication let's say ya say about parliament
now denti e ba sa so ni say akoye te say ye yi anamusifo wo baabi ya e wo say nkomo ne yedi nkita enti ansa no owura to force nko parliament no na nka wo say nka yen yemra se bedwafo na ye di asem ne koto o manim some time ago no e wo say nko ma di hu nkomo bedwam because ministry no e could depend wo omo so but enye sie wie me imagine ye me say ye fanche na se ehu hia na se ehu hia no eho ne ye fa ya adwen ko because sebi aban bie ni wa owo bibi apart from the animal for the amano and so o manage resources enye ekanko na wo manage o manage animu nipa ne emu troubleshooting ni bibia wo se ebem etina medical kan sinto a na ewo ho no na sinto no eswa echen adihiade a yede ekana sebi yede sika no ekotua no ya sika we am say ministry no emfa metu dwa but enya afebo enya sika ye gye no se kopim se wiase be ko na wieye sana media minim sɛ John Mahama hyehyɛ ne nneɛma na ɔbaaya na nka the last person was nka obie na no koraa ka bi asɛm we bi ɛyɛ MPP ni onipa MPP ni ɔho adwene ne wɔ fam ama eduru baabi a na ɛya sɛ party na kakane no sɛ bi o yɛtimi di yɛ ho sɛ ɛyɛ nimdifoɔ party no sɛ no abɛyɛ akwadwofoɔ ɛne amambɔyɛfoɔ party ɛno nti na ama ɔmo a sɛ bi o ɔmo yɛ members of the party no ɔmo nim no korɛ ɛno ane sɛ yɛaka kyerɛ ne sɛ o wei pa renfo yi kodi wanyɛ ne sɛ party ne ma power sɛ no opposition na ɔmo akɔ no ama ɔmo adwene yɛ ɔmo sɛ the word opposition means oppose everything so whether good or bad they always and it's becoming a cancer in their brain one hwɛ bɛyɛ kakra bɛyɛ ɔmo kɛnɛ Japan deɛ ne bi ɔmo bɛnya tumor wɔ ɔmo adwene mu wɔ si eyi tumor ni firi ɔmo adwene mu because tumor ni nyini ɛdeɛ na ɛdeɛ bɛduru ha sika John Mahama ɛgyegye yɛ a na ɛwɔ sɛ nka saa aka wei na aba yi no ɛbɛbɛ bɛsɔ ya ɔman n'asene asɔ ɔmanfo asene na yɛtumi ako yɛ ka no sɛ sika no ɛkufa do ne kanofura atɔm de yɛ dɛn
o refer to
Esla ɔmo di sika no ɛdi sika no si awowa akɔgye bosia a gye sɛ 2037 ɛna ebetua bosia na ewie enti susu ana ɔmo susu sɛ John Mahama aba bɛyɛ mampani no ɛkwan mɛ na nka ɔmo susu sɛ nka John Mahama ɔmfa so ɛmfa emu man no ɔho ɛkufa do ba abɛn mu foforɔ mɛkan mitufu bi sɛ ɛma Ghana ni nkɔto aba ma no na obi a yɛde abusua gya padeɛ ne papa ebewuo no ogya ne hotel o ɛwɔ ha ya Ringway Hotel a wakɔtɔn hotel no de ama Societe General hotel no de adwuma na wɔyɛ change bed sheet mame coffee anaasɛ tea anopa wo de abro so a mame omelette kosu a yɛakye a yɛtwitwa mu atete mu nkete akufo ado ntimi amanage hotel wɔtɔn yɛ ade bɔbra ahuhu bra disco anu ogina mu baabi akokora wadi mfie bɛ ɛkɔ aduokono ne football age na da bia munim no na ogina disco bu nim owie yɛ wɔse ɔto ne pa owie yɛ wɔse wabɔ kanti wantɔn hotel na ontimi nyɛ dɛ ɛfa nyɛ campaign ɛnyɛ ska nyɛ campaign ɔtɔn yɛ akɔtɔn O'Reilly secondary school Emma Major Nunu Mensa Major Brigadier and it me ma own baby and san omu create me ako school sprinters wo baby on na ma omu baby and san omunya baby ako school tobusu ajapade nyina hwe unim from range runabout all the way to Electoral Commission ho nyina na any papa dia oton ni nyina oton bi kura ma talafata no baby ana ye soccer academy no ho nyina na ekufado Otoni nyina copy Electoral Commission baby hack my fie ni wono nyina na ekufa do dia na oton ma no wo bia wote sa na fa ni mu man eti won se de John Mahama ye to ho a na e wo senke ye gina so e de ko ye ka e wo anyinam kane ho esla no eni petro ni nyoma nyina wo on se wo ba ye wo de akosi awo wa agisika na di ene Ghana ni nim de odisika na ye eti se nyansa sabi John Mahama ni papa ne maame ede wo no a edua ni mu a ema woye oba soronko a owo nimdia a wode ka ho ni nyansa de abobra ama Ghana fo ho atoyen a enti nka kwan ba na ke be fa so anka ebetimi akosa akai all right enu ti na say one city na one city no de enwanwanie obaya ebedru busumi afi we awie ye no na petrol bo na ba from papa ebeba ma one city no Ghana ni kura mfili na one city ne yade a wode to se utofu abia na elita bia no one city a fa ne sefu no koto ne 5 cities kura ye beti one city Ghana ni in the last few months petrol no woto ne kane no say yate so say almost 4 cities it is the same one city na say yasa kote so kura in the next window ye beti so yasa kote so a one city na ebi a wusu hu na because ebi a ofi say ya no MPP for na ama wo betua one city no ebedu ba bi kura po no John Mahama nti umfili we and was had the dollar na ekɔ fam sɛ dollar ne ba ebeduru baabi a obi kura si di bɛɛ sɛ enkono ana enso hɔnom enwɔtwe ho na wo di kɔtɔ ayi a wasa ma wo botom ayɛ de ɛsɛ wo si di na ɛsɛ wo botom no anya ahode enti sɛ enti kɛse awi adwe nyɛ sɛ adwe na emre o wei ɛyɛ sesɛyɛ a ɛyɛ nyamiama emre bi jo Mahama de 1 cedi to so saa kwaku kwate de court ti enyi 1 cedi ni mfiri so omo ba aban mu no bisa kwaku kwate no yɛ deputy minister for finance omo antimi enyi omo sei so omo yi a omo ne bɛbɔ enti kɛse awi adwe nyɛ sɛ adwe emre o to Mahama won sɔre prɛko pɛmfa sɛbi decision oh there were only 2 categories of human beings, one who thinks before he acts and the other one who acts before he thinks. The latter Kufuor no omo ye bibi wi ansa no makodwen ho John Mahama or dream deep or your broader consultation ansa na bibia sebi eye ginasie no
okay
it is sebi wadwini so a ko Bible can say omo sua Proverbs 6 okwadufoɔ ko entatia John Mahama nkyɛn ko sua na kwan ne hu nyansa
bedase
so when you say nyansa ni bia eti say dey do so aba akokɔ no ubi bia wo ye bia no ebe make sense afɛ dey afɛ nyoma kin gyina hɔ no ma E-levy afɛ dey ni refi esla because okoka esla say pe ye beka say esla na John Mahama dey mo dey ye it afɛ dey o see E-levy because yi na edi energy na nimu no kyerɛ sɛ ɛyɛ yi ɛna levy nti no refi sɛ energy no sector sa to aso nti ko the sector ne kan ho ankanya ES na kan levy ni ba na kanye esla me ka so obi adwene no ada ne tirim no ohia adwene mo hwɛ ɛne ayi a afenyo marking na adwene no emuka
okay me da say ma ko innocent
E-levy is ko twa keki John Mahama wanko bi
okay
ba wo mia na mo ne ko twa keki yi mu no ono ase oba obetwam afei mu ba ya ye se twam so amose na mu twam ade na ndo bebu man no adwene ni mu kam esa body ni bre wo body no se wadwene ni nya adwuma body ni ebre enti no se bi o sorry ade bi onam no enka odwene pa deeply a onante da because ade bi a wo be dream deeply no wo be hu se we ya me ko ikura enya IGP adwuma onante na ma di akire no mo say high heel edu baby o say na mo ro me high heel mo ma me slippers so we lead the adwene mu kam ekamu a o body ne be bre we on be bre sa o nya free opposition share 2080 something
Ken you see I said declare the wanted be ne lawyer say muntimi nko US ona mo nko hwe say akwa no yare ampa o yare
second for you can operate on the OSP na Konakana. They are fooling all of you. Nyadia, can operate me no say busy or any passport to Hajima or your American passport to Hajima. A grandma won't see you. Or my first can. Sana ne papa and Kufuor papa in 69 on be. Na Kufuor papa na ceremonial president. Anna Ken papa ye finance minister. Ano me for my nisika. Omo broke go. E kan ye two buzi aban go. They were the reason. Chilesa send a beya omoma eba befa se sika no e dia bedi eso on se koba ya no mo so bedi eso chi e wo se we mu so fa na akwa na saba na omoma na
sam kra no ma saba bedi eso
a strategy
yeah
such as it me no aban we ba ya no mo da so OSP so yi na mo so mo agudie wo mani so it's not going to get anywhere. Akufuor ye 1 or 2 strategies or abem no what the OSP abisio and wa pack court which will be so a cron for infernal record ya court case udi for dey na beka so what she share dwuma no and nti oyes ade ni wie no catch any truth say e kwan dem dey obenya bia to be fa papa in the be budget of the 7 years ana oti onyina Oba no so amaya sempa budget in 2017 wamaya juma budget in 2018 wamaya mpunto budget in 2019 ana wamaya ahoto budget in 2020 sena me wan bi
sena oka ho
oba bia no ahye white woye ya no akotu Matthew 13 we are no amount Nehemia ye friend say 2020 no amount Philippians 4:19 no do Genesis no brand ho aso akasa bre Ghana ye gimi ne bi no no ho dwo
mpene ho asem
enso akwa we uja omrebu ho de video bia no na be di etu osin be di etu di asa rock and roll o mo de America sa no wo mu nipa ba kokora papa ya mamrewa ne nkokora haircut ama makejekum kama afa mo wuo ka kire ye se nipa 800 ewu wa wo ma esa budget we nyina awie ye no bra bebu ho akonta afi de oso yare wo ha no makobu fake document na re fi say sa fake medical we no akwe ya mo friends as former attorney general Godfrey Dami one jakpa asem na no ka no eyo one this oga just on go fake medical emra hey adi omuta ye di fake no wa bo no dia bro say me yare oma
virtual accession
ata ye hwe no kro makra discato ni so makache OSPS so be the business or the offer $5 million into Keno for that so me amekwa America akuyina ba my ready only last 3 weeks on the Forest Palace actually wait what do ba me kra man kwa America Ghana for America oba ready
omo abechina se play
omo bebre na ndika problem bra omo de ne beba no mo de be dwetire okruma because the word hono oba omo cash no hono hey idea na why ya wo so wo ma wo ye finance minister na wo na wo se ka hwe se mayo clinic na wo ho a wo chile no ke bebi wa aja na 111 no ba kokora ni wa utumi wie yansa na woko meme ma me aboadwo a oyare a obenya mayo ni biako ene yesi ye dekei enye Ghana for na ye ba betua who do they think they are ya so nkonfo so e okromba na omo so dia ye omo ye na Ghana ne ye dia ye ti kroma no nkofa ejapade book ba ya omo play to the book ye capture the entire economy no mo dia nya omo say tam na ye nya OS
nkofa no manya sika wo
enye so mo ya wo mo
sika ne sha omo ho wo sika
ada papa e ko bob be sia nkwa 13.5 billion from the money market edi adwuma pa di ko
no this sika ne ye
100 beti say wo mo che ho ne template sa kwa broni pete bi o mo ne bae template no ma first kan ko bra be ya no he amena bi o ma ja parliament side o SM nyina ko fa bae look to be catch according to in 2020 Ghana Revenue Authority audit department audit tax fund na emu 52 billion cedis ayera some a transfer ko unknown account be na we say no that time no yes ade na equivalent to $9 billion and no come fa wo see anya keno for yata ekroba e soft enu tira na mo ka wundua so ya me pese beti Professor me konfi so Bob say na that so enye $2 million in court bail condition be na the man yeah man 10 million now you just small mathematics $2 million is true
and who say people need ko
na wona kwatena for man no
enti won baby a Wontumi asem ni free no eye omo ko chase kan di
yes
and afi omo say na yem friend Parliamentary street
yes
na kwala nso agimi
yes
na adwunya adwuma
no kokoko di eche
so $2 million equal to $10 million a year
dollars
therefore $55 million if more or less divide you better no one will say yoko for no they have been so charitable about your soft
I think every 2 million be okay 10 million okay you saying
what
every $2 million
what 10 million what one akwe
how many 2 millions will you get in $55 million
no thank you man bill of 275 million won't to the bail condition no and where ye idea all record show a president the judge in here and just say won't be the court the same thing no judge can vary the say what the only 55 year baba 1 million your friend say Ghana city bill
except the judge is corrupt
and some judges for you say mark one church say now ko e dia ma watu fo bo a no say na be ye no ko wonyare no say so yare azanko the same thing can ofurata ye wonyare
owe ya wase sa agbaja
o sa agbaja ana o genchia o chia unya wie case ni nu ba bi o
ne phone ni mu nyina ye
what you say me de na po nya no ba me tia say de bi o ko
o say o ko na bi o so on card
we de ba trust na popo o so we e she no men card
na say ani
Maseti and Abbas.
Aye.
Only as a son of you see the swear. What do you get to who walk with dear Sika would to me? What would this would your contract won yet? One and a bee, no one walking in by the fancy. So, Etty, or mine, I was said you is serious. Second for Yata, a band we are the buyer and go for a can't go for come to Abama.
Hey, ora.
Saura. And I for June 4th, me the issue statement be a kaya buying said. Say, oh, you be biano one Ghana Fusika Moma, among for the serious.
Yeah.
It's a Sicano woman and Omudi Easter, cohe, no more this kind of year, or more opposition, no, Omudi year. Apartments, a woman which in your money is see. Omudi Malabanis for India for, Lebanese in India, New York, Baby,
I say, Malcolm, dear.
I give me engineer, Omaniska. Okwes Legona, apartments for now, whom you are Modia. Now, ya buy, we are see, I would just all your own self at them.
Nebi.
Also, get your Kwame on your quadia shade,
But they are saying, but only a non post was so.
more conquest as century. Kenoforiata PDS. Can you obey no combina and the Kayaba Verde?
And now,
ECG one cassette 32.5. There is 68 billion, I say.
68 billion.
Short, I say. I did a young Congo discount. It just around the 2 weeks, Baba 2 weeks, so I don't go for move.
Yeah.
I don't slow one. Now, and this is 1 penny for one. Woman, a patoma.
Canoforiata.
And you can offer that. They have to be very careful. Yeah, the ACB. MP before now, and yes, can be a real. Omelette information near Kakoma
Abamufo.
It's a hardcore evidence. We would be na ever say, minimum what they call it, and then big for more.
Never more cow, one more time.
How much we are so home? I will be a cow.
If you to them,
Or no crowd the air champion, you know. That's one the age, more funny. Nobody could do her. Now you end this for impending for good among. Oh, when and I'm ora a statue room. It's answer in Sana F5 but me more up to July ending. Champagne for me too for Brena Yare diabetes near. Some move concentrate some yadia, Monsa. Now, would dear ground because of my sick and Yakamasa. And Yamu end this in one baby partisan 4 times. Oh, be sick, I have got your money. What's it, Abby? Oh,
all right.
Onyanru, for NP, wedding come and the case said by June ended. Or a day, or do more ever cocoa, tango for you again. And I'm one more like ask the police for Coscata. Now, you cry about people.
What me across
Our course, our best sacco, when you are more Casabotiers.
Hey, awesome, man, granny.
Sabotiers in this country. And you know, so when it does California bar to argue.
All right,
my baby, our face.
Innocent. Yeah, not rally so when fire pong.
Yeah, I think it's sad. That be a mekase that be at TV sana ye can Kenoforata now people thought say we were doing these things out of maybe hatred or something, but I think say at the how me say Kenoforata is the masterpiece in the entire bigger corruption puzzle now ye try to your friends say unravel Okroma say there is no single corruption case under Kufuadua Kenoforata any part of it, including the National Cathedral. So the question is, so would see the coso and watch the pefe say, on you're willing to come into this country, and he just pushing the country into a web of technicalities in Nasa Forum. And for me, it is sad because you see, Juma Diane Bonnie and Krufo, we do Kruma say, Mr. Menkai Kra, Papa Kwasin Juma, now a back or crab by force of them, or be your mamma for Jumena or a Kaura. Minim doctors here, or music common call Gold Coast in Nas. When they be a man for sending message, say Gold Coast, there be Gold Fando, Ninja can be named can for Ataya. Because you see, say the your business, grand officer business in the moon now, and answer for now. You move in to protect the interest of the citizens because it is your job. So, I'm financial security as government, it's your destiny just to ensure that you protect them. But I quite near at Timording. A Google bank, a say a man for Juma, Obiana, or your bank manager, we are not to preco el quine psychological trauma, just a whole lot, creating unemployment, and then Meradu, Obian for 7 to so Branabe you are not, or say oyare fine oyare de me say ordinam kroma nya wo hwe ne tie situ nyina kra tim so oyare ene de obi anje ho achinje but the thing is say we yare to the stand say won't mean to play mo according to sources among for who no London last week ordinam ho so it means that when you immobilize I would be and say we bedridden aka say won't be move around and again surgery now say I can somewhere match no identity match no one communicated to special prosecutor or no so case about match no communication be na cause between the two of them. For me, Makasa, the office of the special prosecutor is a useless creation. We need to decommission it. For me, we need to decommission the entire special prosecutor office. And now, any personal way against it, but I think that the entire office, because we have perceived fighting corruption. We need to resource the AG's department, and other state institutions, just to ensure that. And the AG's department, we can even resource them at the regional level to take cases because it's not always the case about Accra. Now you're making sure that you wage war on corruption. Then as if for that man for say we are really serious. Can you for that the okay and yet the Sorbana special prosecutor is just toying on the Ghanaians, emotional key buttons so making it look like Juma because for me on your serious because the more you just cross the John or Ghana for or say on to Interpol red alert. So now when I can would do between Interpol red alert, so I'd never Kruma saying because the mere facts I would not to Interpol red alert. The gentleman is out there telling them and on humanitarian grounds, my culture said FBI can never force him out when he says that he's sick. I know the day a court in a bit determined because over not your ma. Then the court will have to examine the medical documents in here to determine whether the guy is really sick or not. And son of a won't be for sono. The mere fact he's playing the I am sick card, and I can zoom now on one the complexities that are involved because we are talking about a criminal case. Won't be baby said on Ghana for a year conference. No, the American government will have to come in. So what it means, the AG will have to write officially to the American AG's department in America just to. For confirmation. Now, amongst what Tenasa review issue now is a political witch hunting, a real case. And Sana Yamaha, because some no, the back court about the DSM. Evidence now, Ubenyano, it should stand the test of your friends and adjudicatory court and then so process and I can for it. I don't know what question. It's a complex thing. And the guy is not ready to come. And for me, that is the problem. Very dishonest, vulgar people are very so corrupt to the core. And Yankopon we are katakata money and a Ghana for 2 million and here we are today because Juma Wadi then the Sioux can say, but you are not okay. What catch up for Sawa they know. So they can let you go and as for no go and come. I don't know the day. But for me, I think that case in one, young transfer from special prosecutor and from my Yoko. Then I say, oh, ma, young prosecutor in absentia.
Exactly.
And that's how I'm for who am I jailiomo. So new one over what didn't Funuba see a sea prison Ketuabi. No, it's be on record.
All right, let's have fire prong.
Medieval Poma Obaya, I'm say for the past few weeks, my drinking your baby. Now, my dream say, if we see a baby to a bini. And we are to the so I and I drink so
Obashana.
Oh, yeah, yet to say office of the special prosecutor. Or no penny was on or nam no kwachubi. Ejabe wa kanin sempi wa brana NDC opposition. And I'm expecting say and now NDC na wa ben mu no. Ni sinto ana e wo ho nyina no ye be correct no. Enye easy so obeti kromfo. Enye easy say obey special prosecutor adwuma. Adia aye sinto ewo kisi Ejabe adwuma a oyi nyina mu OSP ho nyina ne se woni Ghana phone kita hodie no o well over 3 months as an wabeka ho asem senke ya adia every step of his way no koni Ghana phone din kita ho a enka Ghana phone so bo aye dey boni bebrebe nke emfa mo no some of us because of how keenly we are always following on issues no emma yenya entiase bi e wa adwuma oyemu na so me ntimi nye spokesperson makisi Ejabe esan say senka me ye spokesperson amaki se agabia anka da bia se me bode roani na so no office no akoye say PR kura wo nhye da ni bi ena watimi ne Ghana fo adi nkita ho obe press conference bi ye ebi kura mpa ontimi nkotena TV so na no pa na oye interaction na be ma Ghana fo atimi hu what really is happening enti ewo mu a no abekasa baako this abosome me ensanchi no asa abekasa baako enti ebeduru ho no na Ghana fo adwen a ye fafa ne ho no ne afa awie eno ne ade aha ne pa senko otie mafutu a omo pepiaro na piaro no anope bia wo sori a wonkotena TV so ne radio so no ommo dero ene menya hu samida ko ene samida ko e wo say samida ko e proactive because samida ko nti ena Ghana for this perception about the OSP he said biemu bi there we know what job he's doing. The reason why Kisia Jabin couldn't work under Kufodo is because there was a criminal syndicate in place. A judge for any Kisia Jabin and in the office. A shall say so more because the syndicate no Omunina Cambonia Akoswo. A two Koso can offer more. What's your judge in a part because can offer a judge in a car. Kenoforiata is the first froster in this Fourth Republic. He's the first fraudster or defrauded on my way $12 million under the guise of say Okosidai Amasnet in the name of Abutain. Obianfa the phone, no on Google. So he didn't even qualify to be our finance minister in the first place. Sometimes when the politicians ninya and tokwa bibre no say he didn't have to qualify to be our finance minister. Why do you appoint Obi finance minister when he was saving his monies in tax havens? Or the nisika to bata akwa to tax haven wo amanone se on person obetua to na so so no na na agite to wo Ghana has accused to jini ni criminal like him. Matia Sembia, Kwabne Japan. That's how Kwabne Japan. I am a cry. I'm Busa Mose. The Kwabne Japan is not drain. I am a Jumana. What's the conversation? What's OSP treating Kenoforiata like a common criminal? So, how do you see Kenoforiata? And I say, what kind of human being is Kwabne Japan? Is Kenoforiata not a common criminal? More than. Sisi amino ka say Kogana your friend say national lotteries ko hwe woni say omo appropriate lottery no e dia market no for Yaa Kufuado no mo cheskan any akwa bi friend Alex Daddy oh yes and omo na echa lotto Ghana ha enya NL na echa lotto sa 590 no enya NL no e no for Alex Daddy any Kufuado ena samia ukunum putima omo etimino ka say KGL na onu taloto no Ghana ha no enya Ghana for dia onu taloto ni wi a wo sika na dia akotwa loto no ekodi ni ho na onu atua bi ama NLA samfo akwakwa I mean, okay, say every day they don't get less than 10 million Ghana cedis. Every day. Now what it is a finance minister risk car. A saloto no na kobenya scare free. E ka won budget to away. Na mo jano no ni nam ho. Na mo so mobile so na contract for 10 years. Abaipa wonye Charlotte adwuma no na wono ankasa NLA na ankasa nya 590 no for 1 week. Listen when yes abaipa also koji because for 1 week no he dia work there was abanje. Na okwa it means kwaje. What must say? Etini state capture ni nyina no. Obaya enyese na edi agro. Kofo ya NLA so they have done state capture there. They have done state capture. Omo ade yese emremu no Ghana your friend say National Lotteries Authority na etaloto no omo no dia kwa koma Alex Daddy na onu ni tru tro kan no na onu na etaloto no what London office kan bia na onu jisika ni dia na onu akwa koma Ghana your friend say National Lotteries we so wom can no fire time is a criminal na mo tia na mo so you can state capture ni nyina no the manual na omo dey state capture no. Now, I'm for this year, dear grow. A Japanese document, no. Everything was detailed. I don't know. Oh, unless that the bank and Sonata Chrono Minto. Sonata. And then unless that is one when unless that is your free cropon. omu busuani
aye da be say ye create looter create
omu
create no mo
enti no hu ba bia ye dru asoman no me I don't like aban no ne nyoma bi because ade we mu aggression ye de
me say na maka cho no ngofo na se koyo
so wo de
omo jo omo che
boko sa yes me da bia me ka che jo Mahama say suffer crampo till suffer crampo what should be well of dogs suffer crampo be well of dogs e woni fie anim and so the Holy Spirit di opa kwa apostle nyame che fie gate no kon say be well of dogs ni wa
na bi wa apart from bi wa kwa
e say your mama wo na ya suffer mpo na wo de wo suban pa na wo pese o ye ya wo nkrama ye Grandma ni kwati say Remo Acha what ni di the whole Ghana what di me say na say me sorry no pe bia Remo Acha na bompa ye ma no
o bompa
sorry no bompa ye ma kodwo tumbuafo because financial papa say OSP say you na to tankuru me bompa ya asenyanko
da bi wo de bompa because odo ka
no ye be sre baby ya dru no ya fa aggression anko ankodi esika ye be bre se kronfo part mi se kronfo attack kronfo we no side abai court
what do you say we ye tin we the abai court na court
NIB. But NIBs, have you been able to sort out whatever they want?
Be correct,
very simple. As some me person me catch wamo ekot na yoko toto abo hye ka tai adan ya chicha ma Wontumi nti wamo nti ase no mo munapo otwa kwakọ NIB da bia ana eno de amonya we eno mo kwose tai mo kwankọ fa abo em block kwan ana na po no o ma mo wi ye nti na mo mpe nasem ono de ohia solidarity ni bi wa hu the last time na me catch them say sa NPP for we ban discrimination a wo mo akasa ho kra no mo discriminate na ya so special about ma Wontumi nti a omoma kuro we na yasom kwa didi no me se me nche wasa asem ehu but na me pese me kasi asem so say ya fra na po wo NIB no okoi ya fra cha ma Wontumi wo NIB NCID no okoya e kanya ne say yokofo akwache na bonten ana say NIB for ekọ ni fie say wo mokọ akwache no wo say wo ya Ghana ni na say wo follow politician na man follow ni blindly mwana mani abra na mo yedede wo krom ha mo chese ama ensanhunu ana mo keka nya ebi mo threaten yoko boss ne ebe twa wuti ne ebe ye wusei ena ye be ma kro na your governor bo ene ebe ye sei se nhunu keka na mo keka ye no de na po aka ye nyina yati den na wo se ka kire wo bell ban na wo se ringi wo wutirim chama Wontumi nya Ghana ni nche obia chama Wontumi onso nsini napo chama Wontumi enso nsini akunfia me yawo Wontumi onso nsini Charles Bisiu Wontumi onso nsini Edubu Ahio he is nobody oya Ghana ni ti said na po mu nyina ya Ghana fo a wo manya kwanya baso mo man ne yesi bebu akonta asem we ka ne manso ne sen ni ama ho kwan ma sa asem we a capture the whole country ama yaso de yakobe chese na no fitina no na me ye se metie na po voice metie ya nti asem ba kwa mi sa me ho ne se enti mu amukọ tena fom ene mu amukọ bubu barricade e di abototo ho etwa eja e di to ka tai musa mo hye yoko dan no mwa kasa mo tena se na mo dwene a se ne mu nyansa fa mo mbu afa ade ne bi wo amoma yensusu nya two partisan na ponim se oya accountable to Ghanaians no ya fra no koi me mo na po no onye obi am feel no me nyada no because na num kasa no okeka kire Ghana fo no na ya atemdie maka cho se kroma party bia ko opposition a na hu mu anyansafo party a wo power obehu mu nyansani no party na mu kra mpa na asem na mo party bia wo power wo mu amobedi nsem hunu nyina wo mu kwatena bonte na wo opposition a obehu so ma ye soba obehu so ba koma no aba from adwini na dadi wo bia adwini ye adwuma afenyansa no esha sese hey, this is the same man adum so chichire ye wo kroma ne ye wudi enye ho o ma ye timetable o se ye pa ye nkwa timetable ni free ye fie mra and then na pose from ente wada it is a we minister and na e china betimi asi a wonya minister na e wasa wote asese akuntabuo wo ho eti we ya MPP ni na ya chi Wontumi na wo se wonte asese ye bi sa na asem so wo meyi ano a epo no eso kakraka eya kotom ana wo pa bra mema kresi nim de Manchester kan kotwa jana fatum na shepo why sa wo se wonte ase a kokko shepo na da ho no yama politicians who say asa so mo ye nipa chen yo so mo so mbo chen yo watimi asori afri wo fie akwotena yoko akwoso distraction akikanse mhuru na ba ko so be gira na wa boys wo boko eyire ya no osiminim bia enti yan kasa no ye kwotena fie ne ye hwene ma bia ye di politicians achi ya e de na ye ka kire yen Arana ina po twa kwanko NIB monko hye honom na monko fa bom block kwan sa montia we kwa he was your running mate potentially a vice president sanka nyankopon fa fie ena Ghana for yensa ko to fa ho a e kana po oye vice president eti na po kwa de metimi aka se o wa upper hand ewo granden a chese metimi aka se oyo ogoro party nim che Wontumi who is Wontumi no ti mo ma yaso nkwa didi enkura ma yi wan keto a apprenticeship program aba mbekwa akopa biaye na mo utilize mo daje ne mo time ene mo energy no mo de sa mo energy no kodi nkwase asem adan ya chi Wontumi obi ananka obetimi oya mo vice president no o twakwa ekwa NIB mo support no mo kwatena fo mo ma no Chada bi aya na Ghana fo ankasa no ye duebo papa yama politicians are taking them for granted me chada bi awo emfa me won say we ye madam for your politician now ye madam for me emfa me ho wo ye de anya me ka madwa kire wo ye de anya me ka madwa kire say wo say me ka madwa kire wo TV so ameka say was some from phone so bomb adwema wa me bomb adwema me I have permanent interest ade bia me ye bia me hwe interest ewom now what politician and mafia wo da ho muna mo politician and mafia mo da ya na grow wo binum ani so papa wada je na obede ba kwa ya saade no se me ne wa ho me ko NIP mini abama Erica J office no forms no crowd dey say o portal ne so a chese enkofo portal ne so ma fe ubiemie ya the hard copies ababa to office o we ya kire ya cantonment ya be se ko NIP ko Erica J office ho na ko pa adwuma program ni bi na ye o ko public officer apprenticeship program wo bebre wo ko pa bi nye woko wa ya basintali na ni abre a wo mo hwe ko mefa so youth no ya be ma ya dwuma me ya ye ko honorable Erikopoku office the birthday man today ko great sector ona ko hwe changes a eba feed Ghana program enkukwa ketenkete nkrafo ya odi tena ho na fa ya politics na sere enkukwa ketenkete ene obi o ya poultry farm da ko farms e ya poultry no yo da ko farms na waji din wa Ghana ha wo sika no e ya poultry farm enkukwa no yen tena ho na politics ndidi wutirim na ka se the program bi aba na me party e make fun out of it eti minimum participate na tena ho ya catch your boy no adu yoko ya catch your boy no adu anabi ya botch your boy no adu siadi what dey for time no energy no this akwaniaba no sa ankwasi akwaniaba no you know hunadi why and pay bibi for wa bra bonye eto de bia de ya na ya me dane say sa institutions no kwa me kire wo kwan se kono e wo ye nko bisa wo party card you e ya ko basintali office ona kohwe enipa egu ho wo bo mane na de ayi tuatu obia no secretly e bisa wo ma abe wo ma ya PP fo wo ma ya NDC ni wo ma e bi kwa no kwa de on join party bi ono de musa on na mu bi wo nyina wo hobi omo pe bia ye ko public office enipa gu ho obia pe bibia ye wo time no wo se won ti ase ya che Wontumi nti wo de be kwa wasi wo yoko wo be kwa wasi wo time no e wo yoko se wo shika tai na wa hye yoko dan no abubu atu agu fam because ya che hwan Wontumi na wonim no baabia wono amukura wonimu nipa ban a wo ye onhia woda ya bo chenkuti wo so akobo bi Ghana for mama yen starting suade ne empa bibi mfa ya bra bodye. Now give me I'm not sure for na enra wo mu hudu omo ho na minim se micro minority for na me say parliament na afono omo tie se omo te wono ma na omo to keka omo so omo sori no omo pe ba bi mfa eti na no parliamentary proceedings ikoso omo ja hokọ tena afam oyoko enra parliamentary proceedings ikoso na kwabrani asori what okọ IGP ho say what the petition kwama no o make sure say obe supervise my electoral commission ayadan I declare Ablekuma North. Sha Ablekuma North asemwe obia jaika. The last time I make wash can you pay to say ya say adie we ya electoral commission ye no ya ma ye ni amra obema Ablekuma North aye sao. Make na obia dream be ne so it just said me electoral commission no say me time no say den yo James ada betini cheko school James atu obetimi ahwem boss masare otu wodo obetimi ahwem me tax akra na edi tua ne ka me tax ana edi tua James aka me tax ana edi tua boss masare ka me aban tua me ka me de tia me timi de me sase me bokasa no me na me tua aban adwuma yefo ne ka me tax ana edi tua wo mo ka. So when you who right as Ghanaian, me ma who right. Not so to put politicians too much. Not so to recognize any probably more offices be more what you almost say. I'm bro so I'm bro so. James and the boss masare no motiwano. What tax any the chiomuka. They are accountable to us and nobody else. So boss masare susu say office na afuna what me pie kwa. Yani ni asam enya force. James asusu se baby otie no na wo kire no no amu kasa mu say it is finished ya won sore nkwa obia ni asem obia for so ne say Akufo do man appointment no wanye o me so from na kasa be man appointment a me pa na meje se meje pa e was se meti ase say ma accept a certain responsibility which I'm accountable for. So the moment I will be responsibility be there to who so no say we are answerable to a certain people. One person over here say adwuma dia ya ma appointment and we hwere sinchen. O say ho mesramo mo ma menwe me ho no akopo ba bia tena budi kuda bia no niasem. Anu anabra shebe dwafo asore so mo ye match pass omo kɔ hia omo kɔ IGP office. IGP on na was akwa catch James say ade na ekoso Ablekuma North no hwe na wo Ghana etoda bia systems ene mra enya adwumanti ena obi aye de opɛ wɔ krom ha. Electoral Commission ena ye solely responsible for elections our Ghana. The police yana so about protection. For video na to so ne yanko. Ba wo mo MPs na makwasa la ya to aba mo na wo mo kwatena na sebja famu nhyamra no. Parliamentary proceedings se kwaso no. Wa madane ayi kifet e na o mo nam krom na o mo ye exercise na o mo ye jogging. Ada ye o mo ko IGP ho. Wo da for video na to so ne yanko. Me form sound na here.
This is a
see them, me baby, I know man ya bro moto and the elephant and our elephant is a winning symbol. What unquati them? Winning symbol, one them. I brought him with the and you're gonna for crown your panky, a coffin before so many. Ah, or should not team them. And you're gonna for crown your pay and was somewhere. I brought him Ramo Bubu Miatugu was sign yama, baby. I brought through what you are saying, near Coffers. I brought where the number fear. Ah, ni akwatam sa de we e de aba fie se ye ne ne ba betena na nya se no be se o man no enya bubu no ba bubu kuro na to agu eti eno na hoso no be ye okoye no yes wa kwatena ni mbra mu ho eti me he ade we ya NPP MPs ne ye no I don't blame them all. I blame Jane Mensah and Boss Masare. Anyone want to tell na wamoti electoral commission wa ma yo ma dwen say omo fa mra nya adwuma omo fa boga nya swan wa ma yo ma dwen say wo interest and number 7 no woman I was here no any problem Ghana for a year dine ye kotwaba near to me any premier noa wama winnie wa constituency say Ablekuma not correct a rabno be say thank you Ablekuma not wo and I quit 3 years so say thank you Ablekuma not the same position now we do baby on my HC signboard na say where dey na where dey na where dey atana bi na me drew na me hwa said ade ne didi so na eya be sere na eya ma hweho na eya ma homete na me bisa me ho say enti wo man ban na ye chichiri Electoral Commission aye di sika ma yama wo sika o Electoral Commission is the only institution of Boba Kekakasa be pepin and was here many sika kwato because yama ni sika na kwato na services si akro ne be butu Electoral Commission and omo ka che young Ghana forces sika ye de mo so mo fa nkoye adwuma ni mpo wo mo de aye adwuma ma bia ka makufu adu abanya age so de kopiaka Sana returning officers and adwumayafo omo ye adwuma ma Electoral Commission akasa kra no na wontu omka ensesa na ka ye no o de kwama akufu adu se akufu adu so opesika na kotuaka These are the kind of characters you know mudili me ba se me bi sam na shebi ya fo say sala sam ba ye no why na sorry ye march pass ko IGP ho say IGP ko catch Electoral Commission say on make sure say sala for atwaba enya representation our parliament. What is so special about Ablekuma North? What is so special Ablekuma North ho a sala for de ebi ni wa mo ho. You see the mindset aye create e wo kronim just a soul for ya you go for ya ngona funtino wa mo anya representation and for bia ho Electoral Commission na mu kwa ya na djuma ya na sade so o make sure so mo anya representation no say ya na jemensa ya ni ti no dia kwa wiem wo ka asam na edu ha na atwam hwu na kwa overtaking asam bia ni wa na oka kwa jemensa tirim dia wasi na adwene so opaso ye no eno ana na opaso ye sa menya de be twa Jenmen kasa o se me na kama resign because on one kasa ni me say office na occupy no e go for trust issues e wo de ho maybe say be nyini ni menya Electoral Commission ni me ya sure say Ghana for do na so nye Electoral Commission ni ye na wo ye adwuma ma ye no ye trust o ti a wo te wa no fo so aso ne say ti a wo te ho no fa so be pa na wo so e de anti na be si ne Ablekuma North Electoral Commission timi declare. And basis any logic, you know, very simple. Electoral Commission now was one pin sheet, the original pin sheet, and it declare Ablekuma North, no. Electoral Commission is only pin sheet. Now, who open some me, Samim Pa, and Yamim Pa, open some image of assembly. Now, we say, Yantiasia, now NPP for duplicate. Pin sheet, now, yes, I duplicate, and yes, I original. Duplicate copies. Yafa no bomo coalition. Yafa no bomo na e declare election results. Na Electoral Commission na wo generate pin sheet na political parties no enya bi no. Wo say wo di pin sheet na wo ni bi no. Why dey na yafa declare? Ah, why dey na yafa declare results no? The reason why Obiaka say who's the pin sheet me menji NPP ni NPP so nji NDC fo ni eti se saade aba no yanto na foforo o police stations na achinyaba ho no ne aka na foforo asem we ko obi ati obi asem we ko obi aka obi wo ka sisi obi tin to krom ba bi no okeka nsem hu no just you see ajiri na wa ya chirima ya de ya politics na ya tan. And now MPC and Yabre unim nyomba kwa moto ya mibufu ya pa. Arise Ghana youth for your country. You to be no more rising do much, you know. The amobenyo mama do much your ma. Munya mama ko akwasese yoko horo. You to na monya wamono. Aya wamo amadwen yo mo sabo sum boche wamo. You to amobenya wamo aya you to only hwode na daje ye only bibi ode na brabo ye nti onim so obeba bedi wachi wano onim se akira wodi onya hwe so obedi wachi sa you to na benya no na you to no amani abro mo pa bibi do ma brabo aye no wamo na mo pa adwuma aye bank na wo ba ya wo go na enkwafo ya unemployed ebe si nne no kwafo na mo pa adwuma aye ah institutions a wo ba ya wo de taxes akese ebe gu no omoda so na mo pa adwuma ye nti arise Ghana youth be no is it the same youth na mo pay so omo demonstrate anu ma chi obakotum no ana youth be na mo fra omo ndra no Ghana for mama yan ka no kwankyere jemensa say aye ye sesabe wani ti bebre ama aponchi ache eyebe wani ti bebre a o ma aponchi ache ade pa na jemensa oje wo Ghana for ye ho boni ya ne se akufuado ekofa na be si ye so ye electoral commission boss boni Ghana for ya no Abraku for the crack what general so the position be ma jemensa no wa me kan kire yen oni ya mfa ho adwen wonu atena ne dia mo na kan akoma se me yiri busu ani jemensa ma me kofo no metra electoral commission ana do position ama da wie na wo so waje enti boni bind ya ye mo me de nyom ne yare me da mo nyom ne yare rise Ghana you to be na from you to no bia ni abro pa bibia ya na you to be no hey sese dia Ghana for bebre ani ti o wo ya brantia ya baba wa pa bibi ye hwe adia government betimi aya aboa wa ne se obe create enabling environment a ebe boa wadwuma wo ye eno anu finito fuwa arise ya kwadu 20 Ghana no ne anyina ye ho hyehye yen ye da Wontumi ntofu well because driver for no edi ni nyina akogu so eti ade no o fa free Accra Central Accra Kwadome market ya wode kasi ka ni nyina be ka ho ye nyina ye kwadwoma ne ye ho paapaye edu ba bi na comfort me fa kofo gallon anwa ibi no mo de so omo pompam no mo ye demonstration say anwa ne boa ye den do because ekoya kwadu 1200 and now the same anwa no ye turn 500 cedis. You turn 550. Baby cry, you turn 600 in pa. Say you turn 600 in po of which I know say some of the stores of crowd here nurusa 600 crowd say your wife found to a gu. Adia buying a was so yema one no. I was a buying ma wo to. We see kaka krana ubenya no. I was all the quote just with me the tardy. Adia was a buying yama wanna say a two no be Jeffrey wono. What did be ya quine? Wadi be ya yare sabia na yare a wanya baabi akọ eto a aban be Jeffrey ye ho no na dwuma wo so ade ya ma ya no no ofa be nsi school dan aban ya dwuma ye fo no ofa be ntua wo mka eno anu do adwuma wo sa aban ya ma ya no bra ni deda ya sori aye ye nyina no na maka kiro aban the responsibility anu no aban won ton duro won ton kode won ton meko en won ton nyadro won ton to suduro ade aban oh ya na maka no o create a system ebe ma ye nyina ye ho atoyen ene ukọ pump no so na akọ tofu wa na eno a ukọ me page ade me koto ye na mani age menya ayi advert mo but 1099 10 cedi 99 pesos per liter e bin si da baby ye ko ya yedru ye na yedru bonsanjam ade aban betimi aya ma ye Ghana fo an wo ye sanya baya ye ho be ha ye kakra ye ho be to ye wo aniema bo akosoro ne ye ntu wakatua mu a eno na ma ho hyehye wo no etuma wo se da bia wo sika na ekra no eni value sika no ode ko ha ne ha ba ya na asa wo hu de ode sika na ye eto da bi na akoyi sika be kase ye wia wo sika na asa eni value na mo sorry twa kwan ade na mo ka che electoral commission say electoral commission do the needful adia akoso ablekuma not no aya electoral commission fault aya deliberate almost shada chasa wa mo person mo declare abane de ko side bi ena wa mo nya opportunity mfa nya saade ni ntino yamane nkonkon ho na mo sa city ba ko pe no kwa mo nya be kan ho am de be dey I'm just assuming by not admitting no sa ablekuma not city no se munya de be kam se 88 no ho a mo de be dey na mo ba wa kura nko entrasili 88 mo de ba ko be kan 89 mo sa numbers mo de head parliament. That's the reason why you want to stage work out still parliamentary proceedings be koso Eti awasa NPP MPs ne to am ho say aba Ghana for to ye no ye nyaaya na ka ye mpesa mo bebe parliament ye mpesa mo bebe presidency ade bia koso wo Ghana ha bia e fa ya brabo ho no ye nyaaya na ka mo mben ho hwe se wonnim aba ya to ye no nkyerase a ma kyerɛ mwase number se da munyaaya no eye baabi eye wo ye dan a wo de akonwa kura besi wo e beto ama no eno na bo am would the table you grab a sword the MPP flag about why I better to say Joso and Yamnam Kayo. And Joso, maybe I know my by election. And some that number of Fidel them were many about my Ivansikum Akuma FM. Equa interview no. Ababa one catch the Ivansikum say ya the bois embassy at Joso near the NPP flag a bois no one or better bois am a bois head to him. Abayano a bois and I didn't so. As also what the boy crab and the flag at the boy one or the cock to one to one or value NPP flag at the boy each one cast and the tears in the course where you pa. It is our numbers in a crowd of parliament, you know, and making party be a moment to almost some of them man young governor, now more numbers you're moving to me, I can't young governor, dead the number. A distraction. Now, we did the way I assume unnecessary press conferences. Now, we did the church. I saw. I don't penny idea of Mayo Croma. What to me influence who take Abaya to Yanani, can be Biacham Basso. As a Munyan and Kanchram say, we were communicating to you guys. And there's all my money said, I get to be a mere for Sadiano, near Yanaka. And on one some for no mamma was about the work, no, or moon do a munyom, when to munya some back one, or muchum bears 1 month. So a bini one becabim. It will munya back one no much more, where mammy can't say minch Ghana for. Sir, 1 CD on fuel, 1 letter. Bawumia Ediako Jina baby. Ah, who actually come and almost so a more day. E-levy one bedroom, and your mono kaye. And no mudi dum so leviaba, and your mono. And no remember we are not time, Mr. Nasa Mareho. Baumia doesn't listen to himself. Sabaumia Casa on Tiani who. One casa to me Casa, no contradicting who. As when him are some more can or contradicting who. This Baumia. Mobile me yao. On one a catcher Ghana for say. On one a D-levy buy or Boadu E-levy. But Enra Baumia Casamani yes say. E-levy no one for swat chain. 1 city na ya de so be dum sono. Yeah, NPP from Kwan or Momas. 1+1 let me say 3. Because omo brofo. Wabuso omo tebrofo pa ba omo opponent ka brofo a omo wankyerase from the massa brofo no MPP for na ka say o ka research e kire say ade no gu no kra review e kire say cancel so we review bibi e kire say wo betwam research no kra ye ka omo say research ne kire say wo be say wo man kwadwo wo be bubu bibia gu fam wo mo no mo ka upgrade enti upgrade no ne na akoma ye upgrade ne kira say baby ana dollar ne da no ye upgrade no na kwasoro baby afo price da ye upgrade na kwasoro baby obawu se bibi wo bia upgrade corruption upgrade crime upgrade eno ade na wo mutiri wo ka upgrade no eno ano no eti wo mo te research no research na chese corruption ni wo mo bebubu enyama bu aye de no wo mo bedwiri ama ne bu ayefo saa de he maka cho say MPP ni hu se Ghana ni hu atona na ene ya MPP ni hu se Ghana ni hu atona na ye ne ya enyama bua ba fom $1 ati bayi ase ya soja de gu omo so se ye bayi o se ye bayi busam pa bayi eno mo demonstrate kire yen ena afa kwa de God for you me wa God for you so mo start ye nyane mo start God for you ma ye tena dum so mu e ma ye ka ye numa asem nyina na God for you wo ho enti me anyensa nkire ni bia full price e cost so God for you de na ka be ya ma ya na say full bo beba fom eso still na price na ekosoro eti mu God for oil na ne modi ni nam se no na ama dollar na ba fom no eti God for oil na momo ye no enti me anya impact 3 to 4 months after elections and enya impact Moamu didn't talk, Musa didn't talk. You have no shame when you are lying. Money wo. Shy. E-levy 1%, no. Omo person mo di brim ya ni so me what me fa bibia brim ya ni so I E-levy just 1%. Why no e kira say wo to fuel na fuel no gallon ye 50 Ghana cedis crowd ya na so betua 5 Ghana cedis he mama ka bibi nchira pipi for me wi am bie for life na kira mo he nyansa wo mu mayen. Sa you better for 10 cedi 99 pesos. Let's assume 11 cedis. Because Star Oil, I think it's 11.47. And now baby I'm told me the net 10.99. Let's assume 11 cedis. What the 1 cedi crack can 12 cedi. So would the nyansa ube wusa ne bo for 17 na yetono. Would the nyansa ube wusa air for diesel equal 20 Ghana. Mo for South flyer and to so mame. So I'm going to few of one sweat for go and for fly and to some mammy. Nagana for MPP for who baby on the quadru ye. Made 1 cedi, air cut 10 cedi, 1 man 11 cedi. No, Nyansa woman mammy, a chance say. Met you 17 cedis now buying your washing. When himself says he cannot yet ya the tough one. A OMC son ledge. A buying no. Edia wabenya womu ya 1 cedi na ya de to so no. And now listen. NPP for je to me so amoko mu jaka. Baby ya dru ye ni 17.99. Diesel 23.49. Baby ya dru ye ni baby amudi ya dru ye ni upgrade na no mo ka no. We na kwa mo be upgrade. Tika samle fuel. Oba kwa na super. Adi number 25. Na diesel nam 30. Hey, mo kasi ya jini ya juma ho. Ya jini ya juma. Say ya ka 1% ya ni 1%. 1 cedi ya 1 cedi. 1% ya work 1% out. Woni mo mo na mo tia E-levy no 1% no. Woni sika dodo na mo hwere. Na fuel atia ba bedru 11 cedis. Na me the 1 cedi ka ho ama na ya 12 cedi a. What you chose me new common sense say a ye chance 17 and 23 no. And no na mo pesa mo kachira yen ya na asesen. Sadia way a common sense so it will take somebody who is deep and political minded or be na adwen say ade we me fa common sense nto ho ma me kantum na po ane ba wumia ane nanado ane afanya market ane dubik wamotu anya no monim say ECG ane energy sector no omo de akwahye kam. That's the reason why ya omo komponu crude kroma timi akra bi ansi ho enye nyame na ya adom na expert ba mu a ekadum so ebekom no kanya nnie eti MPP for ya nkrofobia wo hihya na edru ha omo ba no madwiragu o hihya na edru ha omo ba no madwiragu wo mu na Ghana ha President Mahama introduce Esra say ya de betua energy sector e ka na da wo no President Mahama ba musuo President Mahama ba musuo no de Esra ba ene ya tua dum saka ene ya say omo ba ye no ene omo de Esra e be da na yi ya ka na sen World Bank afa wi akire no Esra na NDMPP fo ani abra no mo kasetia no na afa mo kra ade mo no mo ade bisa MPP fo say Esra no mo chichi ye no ade no man kotua ka no. To the extent they say IPPs are more from her independent power producers. Ya do more calm, one more shut it, one more plant it down. IPP kwani will do some. Omo ja do some of koye. Nothing you can't deceive anybody. What jaka over 60 billion. What you Esra na nobody. Wojia hwe na wadi mo taxi bia mo ji wagana ha bia na modi mo tibi kwabo bosia nyansani be na kwabo bosia no de bosia na be party kana for that say IMF ama yesika no ma ba ye wache any kenke party e wa ha pictures all over ya introduce E-levy no ma koye who cake etu wa mo de adwena na e wa mutirim se muntia to no ne ani to no ye tuato no mu di to no ye tuato no no musu di to no and now pesa wo sa agenda no emfa 1 cedi on every liter ni yebetua nyansa wo mo ma yenche E-levy nyansa e wo mo ma me che E-levy businessman na kwa no obetimi di momo aye adwuma no or the 10,000 for ni momo so e dia kwa na wo tira baabi no what mu say 1% minto fuela adam tua 1 cedi momo so de obi yare dampa so kra na wose ye momo a e wose ye tua ho ka hwa ade bi wo ho no ma wo ye ho propaganda emfa sametua 1 cedi na matofu wo no 11 cedi mepe e cha sametofu wo 17 to 25 cedis nyasa wo mu mame eti sa agenda na ma sha ase no enko ba bia emfa na se wo ye obi a wo ye no kwafo a se na po ye obi obeka no kra kire Ghana fo a obema Ghana fo hu se oni ye ni yie se ba wo mia aye obi o ka no kre kramoni odi ntro kramoni oye munafiki ba wo mia oye munafiki wo sha kramoni abisa no se ye ka so obi ye munafiki a kire sen ba wo mia ya biggest munafiki an wonam wiase kramoni odi ntro mi hu bi da ye nuanom kramofo ono asam ne se de tie bi obapam no waka me nim de ba wo mia omo de aye no a cha se watimi asua ntro twa o de se propaganda no waye mu kwenkon eno de kon wontini pa eno de drum so levy aba ene ase E-levy wo so wo ka kire se wo banka ba E-levy wo se wo banka ba E-levy enti se wo problem ne sen sisi apai ba umia o problem ne sen ade no so banka ba yi mahama ba wayi ntu ha ne sen enkosi hwa na je se wan ka se kwa ntro na wudi kire ya wo ba na ka yi me kwa me ni na ti E-levy no ya twom esa ya mu problem esa hamo nyamene ye nyina aboafo okrom ha na street yi so de propaganda le jandam bia ni ho ebe survive 2015 2016 jandam na course no ebi ntimi nkoso this time around say kwa the answer na some no dey beto on social media pa na ekọ say so wo common sense a e wo so hu say wo ye panyin dintro mo ya panyin na wo dintro a me ni obuo ma wo ye panyin wo hyabo wo ni so me ni obuo ma wo ye panyin na ma ye hu panyin ye nokora e ye ba ko pe entro na wo kasa ye bebre